This is not financial advice. I just hope you bought your oven mitts, baby, because it's about to get hot in the kitchen. Now let's get straight to the point. Subscribe to the channel.
And none of this, of course, is investment advice. So no more wasting time on that. And I said yesterday, keep calm and huddle. I didn't expect us to drop $10,000 in a matter of hours. So, but then it bounced right back. So first of all, I need a Valium. I think we all need a Valium. Actually, I thought about having a Heineken beer or a glass of wine during this live stream to do like a Meet George. Anyway, to jump in, here we go. So typically, and my modus operandi for my whole life has been when fear is at its maximum, when people are leaving the building, I'm running in. When the building's on fire, I'm running in. And this is the old fear and greed index for Bitcoin, as you know. We are almost at extreme fear. We are at extreme fear, but it's been lower than that in the past, but it's pretty much as low as it can go. So watch for that, everybody. At maximum fear is a good time. Maximum enthusiasm and confidence is typically a bad time. But let's talk about why I think everything is happening, first of all. A little story to take us all back in time. So for the first time, the small guy, like you and me, we confront run Wall Street. However, freedom comes at a price. So I was trying to think of the best way to articulate exactly what's going on here. So the good thing about Bitcoin is it's free from any protections, which also is a bad thing. And that means it can be manipulated and is being manipulated on a weekly, daily basis, and since the beginning of time. And that brings about a lot of fear, and it brings a lot of capitulation. And that's what we saw today. People broke. The people that timed this, they timed it perfectly. They executed it perfectly, in terms of the FUD and everything else. But what happened, and I'm going to go in detail through this whole orchestration. Bitcoin fell 53% over 5 weeks. And went up 35% in 3.5 hours. So look at all those 5s and 3s. I always like to see patterns and numbers. That's just uncanny. And the question is now, is this a new bull market? I mean, as bullish as ever. And I'll prove the case as well as to why. So no need to panic, everybody. But what's really going on? Why is this all happening? So I think because the small guy, like you and me, has front run Wall Street, and people know that Bitcoin is the most pristine asset of our lifetimes and perhaps in the history of the world. The retail investor has the bags. The small guy has the bags. And now all of a sudden, the money centers want in, the millionaires want in, the billionaires want in. Everybody wants in and they don't have any bags. So how are they going to get the coin away from you all? And that's exactly what they've been planning. Flooding, like first of all, Bitcoin's going to $400,000. And then in January, February, it's like, uh-oh, we don't have enough Bitcoin. Let's scare the heck out of the market. What can we do? It's going to 20,000. It's going to 25,000. Everybody get nervous. It's going to crash. And then he probably works behind the scenes with a whole bunch of other people to make stuff happen. And that is what I believe is going on. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory, but I'll prove it's probably not. So first of all, you look at the more rich clients are getting serviced. Today, 3 hours ago, Wells Fargo announced they're going to offer capability for crypto, invest over $50 million or $100 million, or whatever the case may be. JP Morgan, same thing. Goldman Sachs, same thing. Now Wells Fargo. So do you guys all see a pattern? The pattern is they are all lining up to generate funds to give Bitcoin to the highest and wealthiest individuals out there. But they need the coin to be able to sell them in the first place. And they don't want to spend $65,000 on it, or $77,000 or $100,000. Therefore, they need to shake the trees, shake the weak hands, and grab the coins away. So more proof points. JP Morgan, master manipulator. Based on open interest in CME Bitcoin futures contracts, they believe the price is going down. And this is all bull. If you looked at my video yesterday, I proved that the actual contracts are 3-to-1 on the bullish side for Bitcoin. And that was before any of this happened. So long-term, medium-term, everything still remains very bullish. Now, Max Kaiser came in and gave his point of view regarding JP Morgan. These guys have just finished paying $1 billion in a fine for manipulating gold prices, and now they're connecting Bitcoin to gold? Come on, it doesn't make any sense. They lowered the price target as well for Bitcoin, which isn't too bad. They said the price target's gone from 146,000 down to 130,000. So that's not too drastic, but Max Kaiser was very funny saying, "Nice try, crooks," trying to shake people free. But the sad thing is people are losing money, and I'll talk about more of those later. But first of all, let's talk about big firm manipulating what's going on right now. Some sound bites. This was on Reddit and it's been widely publicized. And this was orchestrated a FUD campaign, i.e. China Bitcoin ban, usual stuff we've been hearing for years and years, maybe on top of, piggybacking on top of the Elon Musk stuff. And there was a coordinated dump planned for 7 a.m. UTC. And that dump, I'll show you exactly how they do that in a few slides. But once liquidated, buy all you can. And the projection is $70,000 Bitcoin next. Very clear, it's an anonymous writer, says he works for a big firm, probably Chinese based, but this is what's going on. And this is what we have to be aware of. And this is a reality today. This is really happening. Again, I am 90% sure this is the truth. I'm 90% sure everything's being manipulated, maybe 99%, but let's go a little bit deeper. So everybody was talking about the yckoff orchestrated pump and dump. And I was a bit of a skeptic in the beginning, but over the last week or so, and definitely today, when you look at the pattern chart and what a typical yckoff orchestrated pump and dump is, it makes all the sense in the world. Now, this guy came up with these theories over 120 years ago. So I just want to read some of his key quotes. When you take a wholly impartial viewpoint, unbiased by news, gossip, opinions, and your own prejudices, you realize that the stock market is like any other merchandising business. Remember, the key word here is merchandising business. It's to sell stuff, whatever it is. Buy low, sell high. Now, manipulators, even more important, can only play in markets that they can move best, so they can secure the highest possible rate of turnover of sell it high. Real simple, like merchandising. This is what he's talking about. Now, going a little bit further to illustrate that this pump and dump was real, the proof, within 10 minutes, 20,000 Bitcoins are moved off the exchanges after the crash, after the dump. This has never happened in the history of the world. And this proves the big institutions are jumping in, they are buying, and they're moving to cold storage instantaneously, okay? So they managed to pull 20,000 Bitcoin, or a hell of a lot more amount of time. And do they do this? So this is something that, how are these things orchestrated? Well, I'll give you a simple example of what I would do if I had $100 million to spare and I could take that type of hit. You need to do it with severe numbers to get a big impact. So you borrow $100 million of Bitcoin at 10-to-1 leverage. You could even do 100-to-1 leverage if you wanted. So assuming 10-to-1, that'll cost you $10 million. You use 10 million of cash to build a 10-to-1 short position at the same time and say a strike of $50,000 per Bitcoin. Then immediately, the $100 million of Bitcoin you have, you dump it on the market, but you wait for the right time. You wait for the maximum FUD to be in play. You wait for people to be nervous, and you wait for liquidity to be low. And that dumping 2 a.m. in the morning, you don't know when it's going to happen. Okay, so they dump it. They dump 100 million, and the Bitcoin price dumps, say, 5,000 or 10,000, like yesterday. Then they cover the short, profiting 60% in gains, and they buy the Bitcoin back cheaper than they bought it. So for that little investment that they borrowed, and this happens over a period of a few hours or a few days, you can make $20 to $30 million on a $10 million investment very, very quickly. So this may sound like double Dutch to some of you, but it's actually really simple. And it's the manipulation that's been happening for decades and decades and decades in other markets. We're talking copper, palladium, gold, cotton futures. It's the easiest playbook in the world. Real simple. So anyway, that's how they do it.